Hey y'all, welcome back to Our Perspective. Long time no see. I feel like I say that every episode, but not too much. Not too much. It's your host here, Mariah, as you may know. And today we're gonna talk about freeing yourself from the shackles of generational curses. Okay? Okay. Keep in mind it's like 12:30 in the morning and I'm recording this because I just got a boost of energy, and when I got it, I gotta keep it. Let's just roll with it. So I hope you are all doing well, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and wherever you're listening or watching this. As you know, I don't have a script, so we just gonna go with the flow. I'm sorry if what I say don't make sense in a moment, but it's gonna make sense at the end. So just roll with me, okay? So this has been at my mind heavy. It's been on my mind. It's always on my mind. It's always on our mind. Always on our mind. I'm a little too jittery. Let me calm down. Get my thoughts together. Freeing yourself from the shackles of generational curses is something that takes a lot of work. It takes a whole lot of work. And the first thing is just acknowledging certain things, and a lot of us don't really recognize how much our childhood contributes to how we show up in relationships and how we react to things and how we are with other people, whether it be personal, professional, educational, all those things. Everything, I'm not gonna say everything, but pivotal things and most things in your childhood show up. They do show up in your adulthood and definitely in adolescence. And right now I'm in the age of, we're in adulthood, and I still feel like I don't got it all together. I don't. None of us do, but I don't, and I'm gonna admit that because I don't. Although on the outside things may seem like I have a lot of things going for myself. I'm very successful with the things that I want. I have a vision on where I want to go, what I want to do, which all of those things are very true. But the inside is like, that's you for real? That's you? But that's something very important to acknowledge, because I'm sure you guys have known, it's all over social media, the term imposter syndrome. And I'm not going to read you a dictionary definition of what it is because we're just not doing that. But pretty much it's the idea that you don't feel like you're deserving of the things that you have in your life, or the things that are coming for you, the blessings that are coming for you, or the things that you have right now. Like, you feel like a fraud. In a sense, you feel like the things that you have around you, and whether it be people or materialistic things, are not something that you deserve, or you don't feel like that's you. And then a lot of us experience those moments often, and it most certainly derives from trauma. We're gonna say that. And the term trauma can mean different for other people, or a traumatic event could look different to other people. So however you want to perceive what trauma is, that's completely up to you. We're not, oh, this was traumatic for me and not traumatic for you. We're not doing that. Back to what I was saying. So a lot of us experience that idea of imposter syndrome, and including myself. And it's a little bit difficult to navigate, especially those of us who are in fields to help other people, whether it be our work, our hobbies, our career, whatever. It's very difficult to manage. And when I say imposter syndrome typically derives from trauma, this will look like not having validation or reassurance when you were a kid from your parental figures or caretakers, people pleasing, abandonment, and just, it may even be like verbal or physical abuse or emotional abuse. So all of those things over time can kind of rewire your internal thoughts and perception to make you believe that you're not deserving of certain things, or the things that you have acquired in your life is not really for you and it's not yours. And you feel detached from those things. So yeah, that's very important to acknowledge. And a part of kind of breaking that cycle is knowing that and doing the work that you are deserving for everything that you've put your hard work and dedication into. You are deserving of it. And the things that you are looking to acquire is already yours. You have to believe that. And even though you may have had moments in your childhood where you felt like you weren't deserving of anything, if you weren't deserving of love, if you weren't deserving of a safe space, if you weren't deserving of those things, you are deserving of it now. And I'm here to tell you that. I know our perspective is focused on mental health, breaking generational curses, and hearing from different people like us on what that looks like. And it's pretty much been me. But me being in the field of social work, if you didn't know, I'm not going to speak for everybody's personal experience. But the overarching idea that minorities in general experience these types of things, I am going to speak up about, because there are many people who have had voices that are silenced. And that gets deeper. We could do that in another episode. But, so we're making a list as I go on through this episode. I just think it's so important to do the work, and a lot of us have experienced a lot of things that we shouldn't have. A lot of us have known about things that we shouldn't have at a very young age. And as you grow older, you start to recognize why certain things have happened, who people really are, whether they're your family or not, and what you want to be around. And I feel like when you're in your 20s, it's a constant cycle of conflict with that. I'm kind of personally going through that myself, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It is so hard. It's like, it's hard. I would say the most important thing for you to do in order to free yourself is to do the work. What does that look like? That looks like you acknowledging it. Like I said, the first step was, and getting help. And that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. I am so sick of people viewing therapy as a crutch or as something negative, when that is a concept that has been negative from our parents. And simply seeing somebody outside of your circle, outside of your family, outside of your friends who have kind of a fresh perspective of like being on the outside looking in, can give you those tools to be able to navigate certain things and how to manage certain relationships and how to literally give you a new perspective or shift your perspective, because essentially as well, like a lot of our trauma or a lot of the things that we've been through is based off perspective. Like, for instance, if, I don't know, I'm gonna think of a random example. If someone embarrassed somebody at school, that person may grow up and view that, and in that moment may view that moment as a traumatic event, and that's something that they think about all the time, and that contributed to the way they dress, the way their self-perception, the way they talk to people, because they were embarrassed. They pretty much have a fear instilled in them that that's gonna happen again, or people aren't gonna like them because of that moment, right? And then the other side is this same thing happened and the person brushes it off. That was embarrassing at all, because that kid or teenager, whatever, may understand that is a reflection of them, not them. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if it's making sense, because I'm saying them, but yeah. So one person may view something as very traumatic, and another person experiencing the same thing can not view it as traumatizing at all. So back to therapy. When talking about certain things and diving deep into the nature of your relationships and your childhood and parents, family, all that stuff, it's so helpful to be able to have somebody on the outside that doesn't necessarily have an opinion about these people already, or doesn't have a bias about your situation, because they simply don't know these people. If you were to confide in a friend, if you were to confide in your mom or your dad, they have an opinion, number one. Okay, they're going to have an opinion regardless. And depending on the things that you tell them may garnish your relationship with them, and that may not be something that you want. And now you've confided in somebody, whether they're trusted or not, who now knows your business, and there's a potential idea that it may be thrown back in your face, held over your head, all those things. And those things right there, contribute to like the cycle of trauma with relationships. Like, this gotta be multiple episodes, because there's just so much. And it's like 12:40 in the morning, so forgive me if my thoughts are not thoughting right now. So we talked about imposter syndrome and therapy. Just to give you a little backstory, because I'm not interested in getting too personal on the podcast, but I'm 100% with being transparent. So I've been going to therapy for 3 years, and the growth that I have seen in myself, listen, honey. If you needed a sign, this is your sign. I'm telling you right now, this is your sign. Don't get me wrong. There's a long way to go. A very long way to go. But the person that I was when I had my first session versus the person that I am today, baby, I could cry. Like, seriously. And it's not even about my therapist. It's about me. I did the growth. I did what I needed to do in order to get myself out of certain situations. I put myself first in certain situations, and I'm still doing the work. I'm still doing the work. And there's still obstacles and mountains to come. But I'm definitely more confident in managing those obstacles. Definitely. And being in the field, when I was younger, for so long, I was like opposed to therapy, although I wanted to be a therapist. Make it make sense, right? But that was because like the cultural perspective. Oh, you don't need somebody to talk to you. Oh, all those things, all the stigmas around mental health and therapy and all that. But a lot of that comes from ignorance. And once I started to know and learn more about the field, and a certain life event happened in my life, I'm like, all right, it's time. It's time, right? And I'm not somebody, I can't go in this field and say I want to help people and do all these things and have a vision about my career and where I want this podcast to go and create a platform and all those things if I haven't even experienced it myself. How am I going to know if therapy is even remotely helpful if I haven't experienced it? That's in my mind. Like, I don't know what it is to sit in front of somebody and express certain things and be able to process and talk it out and possibly gain some tools in order to manage it before I do that to somebody else, before I sit in front of somebody else and hear them out. So, aside from societal norms and what people think about mental health, it definitely has come a long way, and people are more, I guess, accepting, even though, although people are still very much judgmental. And there's like other factors like religious and cultural and all that stuff. Although it's a little bit more accepting now, I would say get rid of that stigma. Get rid of it. Because you know what? It's only hindering your growth. It's literally only hindering your growth. And it may not work for you. The type of person who you may see for therapy may not work for you. And it's like you gotta find your person. And that person is not a forever person. Therapy is not forever. Trust me when I tell you, it is not forever. It is not forever. There are certain people who specialize in certain things. So there's a whole lot that comes with that. And maybe I'll dive more into it in another episode as far as like the social work profession and psychiatry and all those things. But if you want to contribute to your growth, I encourage you to take that next step. And I don't know who I'm talking to right now. It may be you on the other side of the screen. It may be you on the other side of the phone if you're listening via audio. But it's time. You've been ripping and running. You've been emotionally drained. You've been struggling for some time now. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. If you're not hearing it from anybody else, you're gonna hear from me. It's okay. And it's a testament to your growth and your healing. And this is part of breaking free from them shackles of generational curses. And if you're that person who wants to break those curses, you obviously cannot break it all at once, because it's a lot to unpack. But take that step to start opening that bag and taking those items out, because you can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone. As much as you may think how resilient you are, that probably still didn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. You still can't do it alone. You're going to burn yourself out if you're not already burned out. And if you're already burned out, it can end up worse. And we don't want it to get there. So, from me to you, from our perspective to you, I'm encouraging you to take that step, whatever that looks like. And that doesn't even have to be therapy. It can simply be praying. It can simply be journaling. It can simply be reading. It can simply be grounding yourself. It can be taking a solo road trip an hour away to some water and laying a blanket down and praying and writing and all that stuff. It can simply be you taking care of yourself in whatever form that looks like. And in this episode, I want to challenge you to do that, because you deserve it. I promise you do. And there may be days where you feel like you don't. There may be days where you feel like you don't have the time. There may be days where you just don't get to it. And that's okay. But also sit back and recognize that that needs to be a priority. You need to be a priority. And if that means separating yourself for some time, do that. Do it. Even if it's for a day, 2 days, maybe a week. You deserve it. And if nobody tells you that, I'm gonna tell you that. So make sure you take care of yourself. I did, switching gears a little bit, I did bring two things that I wanted to share with you guys, and maybe this may be helpful to you, because this is something that I'm doing. Recently, I've been on I don't even know what to call it. I've been starting to read more, which I've always been a reader, but life gets in the way, and a master's program gets in the way, and just stuff. But we're prioritizing, right? I'm not gonna preach what I don't practice, okay? So we started. So I recently been reading this book called Drama Free by Nedra. Nedra's my girl, okay? I've read Set Boundaries, Find Peace, and so this one so far, I think I'm on like chapter 7, something like that. And what I love about it is the Set Boundaries, Find Peace, and this book has reflection questions at the end that you can write about. Obviously not in the book because there's not space for that, but you can write it in a notebook. I personally write it in my notes. And it just gives you time to, it just gives you the chance to reflect on certain things with the topics that are in the book, and it's very helpful. Very helpful. Because we have a lot of things in our brain and don't really recognize some things unless we bring it to the front. And part of that is bringing it to the conscious mind. Definitely recommend this book. And then I got this journal from TikTok. Forgive me because I forgot the girl's name who made it and owns the business. But it's called Inside Out. And the packaging, you did that. Okay? So it comes in this, like a gift box things, right? And you open it. And it's the journal. It says better every day, and on the bottom it says Inside Out. And then in the inside it has every day of the year. Ask me if I'm on the right day. I'm not, but we're making progress. I'm currently in April. We're in August, but we're still writing in here. I really like this journal because it's like focused prompts that allow you to answer certain questions rather than like if you were to journal about your day and how you're feeling. Don't get me wrong, those things are important too, but these are guided prompts and I like that better. So if you like that, get you one, okay? So yeah, I encourage you to walk with me, walk with Our Perspective, and walk with me on this journey to taking care of yourself. My light done died, y'all, so we back. But yes, I encourage you to walk with me and walk with Our Perspective on this journey of taking care of yourself and attempting to break free from the shackles of generational curses. It's not a linear journey at all. It's not. But it's definitely worth it for you, number one, your children, your family, and the legacy you want to build going forward. So yes, I hope you like those 2 recommendations. I will start implementing that in the episodes as fast as I get through things. Not too much, but yeah. Please be sure to check out our website where we have mental health stickers, notepads, and PDF booklets on things to help you along this journey. And be sure to check out our Instagram. Give us a like, a follow, please. And seize the day, don't let the day seize you. And we'll see you next time. Bye.